here we have the Tudor Black Bay 41 Monochrome. And that's just a nickname in reference to the fact that this is all steel with the black dial, black bezel, and white tone indexing and white tone lume and natural light. It's a very attractive, very safe or conservative style or color scheme. And I know a lot of watch collectors consider this Black Bay 41 a Submariner stand-in or even a Submariner killer. Others find it a bit too boring, a bit too basic. Others find it the ideal daily driver. And you know what? I think there is some truth to all of those different statements. This is not a brand new watch for Tudor, but it is a fairly recent addition to the Black Bay lineup. And I personally think it is a heck of a daily wear watch. And we know that some watch collectors can get a bit obsessed by finding the perfect or ultimate daily wear watch. I think this is a really good one. This is currently what I would consider a solid luxury value. So it's a luxury watch at a solid or reasonable price. You feel like you're getting a lot for your money, just taking into consideration the movement, the certifications, the dial details, the lume quality, or the tactile feel of the T-fit clasp or this bezel. I really like the bracelet. I think it's easy to see why this is a solid watch, but the more Tudor does price increases, the less of a luxury value I find this to be. So, I just think it's fair to assume that Tudor's end goal is to continually move up market, just as its sister brand Rolex does the same. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in the comment section. Now, thank you to Exquisite Timepieces for lending in this Tudor Black Bay 41 for a review and comparison. Exquisite is a family-owned AD. They have a huge selection of Tudor. They carry 60 other luxury brands. They're a great place to buy a new watch or perhaps trade in an old watch for a new watch. I've linked their store below. Now, let's talk about the good of this particular watch, then we'll go into the not so good and wrap up with a few comparisons. But starting with the good, I like the size. I like the fit on my wrist. This says it's 41 millimeter, but nominally it's actually smaller than that, just as a 41 millimeter sub is actually a little bit smaller than that dimension would suggest. So it fits nicely on the wrist. For reference, my wrists are 7.25 inches in circumference. And I like the adjustability of this clasp. The T-fit system is easy to use. There's a good amount of travel that you can engage. So I think that's a positive thing. This has very potent, long-lasting lume. This has the best tactile bezel action in its class or near its class. And it has a very positive retro or heritage feel to it with the anodized aluminum insert, the domed textured dial, the step style of the bracelet. This definitely does not come across as contemporary, sleek, shiny, or overly polished like a Seamaster Professional or a Submariner can sometimes feel. I also really enjoy this manufacturer Tudor movement that is independently certified by the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology, or METAS. So very robust. And I think just strengthens the idea that this is a great daily wear watch that you can take almost anywhere, do almost any type of activity, and it's going to keep consistent time and look good in the process of doing so. Now, this has overall excellent versatility, this particular color scheme. You can put this on a rubber strap or a NATO strap, or if you want to commit a faux pas, even a leather strap. I think this really, you couldn't put a bad strap on this watch. It's just that versatile. Now, here's a controversial opinion, but I think the snowflake hand here on the hour hand is beautiful. I love the shape. It's distinctive. There's a lot of surface area for lume. It's easy to read day or night. In fact, I prefer the snowflake hand design to the Mercedes style design that you find on a Submariner or a Sea Dweller. And so I think that's a positive thing. But moving to the not so good, what would be aspects that would hold this watch back? This does not have good ARC. In fact, I would say it's very poor if it's even present. And ARC stands for anti-reflective coatings, if you're not familiar with the term. And so in my experience owning a Tudor Black Bay 41 Burgundy, that was the one thing that really held the watch back, was seeing distracting reflections, especially when you're outside in natural light, or you're hiking or camping or doing some sort of sport activity. That became quite annoying. And I consider it almost a deal breaker. But going to the next aspect, this is not a deal breaker, but it's borderline too tall. It wears well, but the mid case feels a bit thick. It feels a bit chunky. Certainly not at Tudor Black Bay Pro levels, but just proportionally speaking, this does not have the refinement that you would find on, say, a Rolex Submariner. And lastly, I don't personally like the faux rivet style of this stepped oyster bracelet. I think the faux rivets are just a little bit over the top. I think Tudor could successfully have a retro feel to this overall watch without mimicking the look of rivets. This watch, I think, absolutely sings on a 5-link bracelet. I think it's beautiful. I think it's comfortable. That's how I enjoyed wearing my Black Bay Burgundy 41. Now, the retail price is $4,975 as shown, $4,750 if you buy it on a rubber, or $5,100 on a 5-link bracelet. And I think many watch collectors, they enjoy Tudor because Tudor is more affordable, it's more available than a similar Rolex, but even Tudor seemingly is playing with the Rolex playbook with highly limited, restricted to certain preferred customer type of models, similar to the Rolex operation of their brand. And that's a bit disappointing, I think. There's no denying that Tudor make excellent watches, but I want to pose a question to you. Many watch collectors, they have a disfavorable view of Rolex just because of some of those aspects that come across as gamesmanship. But they don't have a disfavorable view of Tudor yet. They can dislike Rolex while enjoying Tudor. And here's the question, can Tudor sustain that? Or as the closer to Rolex they get, as the higher the retail price inches up, will they lose that vital part of their current enthusiastic base? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Please sound off in the comments below. I'll close out this video with some size comparisons to some other watches, just so you can get a good feel for how this stacks up to other well-known designs like the 41mm Submariner or the 40mm Day-Date or the other sizes of the Tudor Black Bay. In fact, I recently did a comparison video of every Black Bay diver's size. So if you're interested in seeing some of the more details and nuances on that, check out that video. I've linked it on the screen below. But let me know what you think. Reach out with questions. I appreciate you taking some time to watch this video today. If you got something from this, please hit like and please subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you.